Good evening and welcome to today's training. In a few minutes now, um, we shall get started with our training for today. We will not wait for a lot of people to join us because of time. We shall just get straight into today's training. Those who will find us along the way will find us on the way. So today we are looking at the topic breeding and nutrition. Breeding and nutrition. So this is in relation to broiler rearing. So that is the topic which we are looking at today. And in looking at this topic, this is how our outline looks like. So we are going to have the introduction. Then after the introduction, we are going to talk about understanding broiler breeding. Thereafter, we're going to talk about understanding broiler nutrition. And thereafter, we are going to draw our conclusions for today's topic. And so let us get started. So let's start by understanding what broiler breeding and nutrition are all about. So broiler breeding and nutrition are crucial aspects of modern poultry production. So modern broiler breeding focuses on trends like body weight, growth rate, feed efficiency, and carcass quality. And all these are important for a farmer to know and understand, even as they are producing broiler chickens. So in today's training, we shall have an overview of broiler breeding and nutrition and how these can help farmers to make informed decisions. It's from these informed decisions that a farmer will make a profit. So broiler farming is a highly risky business in that mistakes which are made, if you make mistakes while producing broilers, they'll result directly in financial losses. So basically, the goal is to help farmers have an understanding of how broilers are bred and their nutrition. Once they have an understanding of the breeding and nutrition of broiler chickens, they will be able to make informed decisions. And that is what we focusing on today. So let us just get to understand what is broiler breeding. When you hear broiler breeding, what comes to your mind? So broiler breeding refers to the selective breeding of chickens specifically for meat production. So this definition of what broiler breeding is firstly a very loaded definition, because in it has the definition of what broiler chickens are. Broilers are chickens which are bred specifically for meat production, but there are certain words in this definition which we might just look at and assume that everyone understands the meaning of those particular words, but we do not want to work on assumptions, and therefore we are going to define some keywords in this definition. So we'll start by defining what breeding is. So what is breeding? Breeding refers to the process of mating and producing offspring in animals. So breeding refers to the process of mating and producing offsprings in animals. So in the natural cycle of things, male and female have to mate in order to have offsprings. But when we talk about breeding, this is a deliberate effort which is put in mating animals in order to have offspring. But if you look at our definition of broiler breeding, our definition says that broiler breeding refers to the selective breeding of chickens. So at this particular point in time, I just want us to define selective breeding. So what is selective breeding? So this is the intentional mating of animals or plants to produce offsprings with desirable traits such as higher yield, disease resistance, or specific physical characteristics. So when we talk about selective breeding or intentional mating of birds, in this case broilers, the desirable outcomes are that these birds are meant for meat production, and birds meant for meat production, in this case, the other desire is that they grow fast. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just get to look at broilers. So these chickens, known as broilers, are bred to grow rapidly and efficiently, convert feed into muscle mass. So these are broiler chickens. So when we talk about broiler breeding, this is what we mean. So the first bit of it is broiler breeding refers to the selective breeding of chickens specifically for meat production. And these chickens, known as broilers, are bred to grow rapidly and efficiently convert feed into muscle. So the other day, somebody in the group was asking what would happen to local chickens, our local chickens, if they were put in an environment, the same environment that we put broiler chickens, whereby they have just been hatched and they are put in a brooder and they are provided for with broiler grower, this feed called broiler grower, and so on. So at the heart of that question was, if you put a local chicken in the conditions where we put the broiler chickens, would the local chickens grow the same way as fast as broiler chickens grow? So that was some kind of experiment which somebody wanted to conduct. But the answer to that is no, they will not grow as fast as the broiler chickens grow. They'll grow better than the chickens which are left, the chickens which are left to free range and find feed for themselves. They'll look healthier and all that, but they will not grow as fast as a broiler chicken. Why? Those are local chickens and they have their own growth rate. So the broilers have been bred. These are crossbreeds. It's not just one breed of chicken. These are crossbreeds, and they've found a cross which is able to go when it is crossed, it is able to grow fast. And the purpose of crossing these birds is so that they can be used for meat production. That is why most of the times, if you decide to conduct an experiment, you look at a broiler chicken, which is meant for meat. You can keep it for a long time. It can stay for a long time, but chances of it laying eggs and having offsprings are not there because the way it has been bred is for it to be used for meat production. Now, having said that, there are certain misconceptions about the broiler chicken, misconceptions that maybe it may not be really a living thing, but those are just misconceptions. A broiler chicken is an actual living bird, and it's just a hybrid. Yes, that is the correct term. It's just a hybrid. So that is about breeding. The primary goal is to produce birds that can reach market weight quickly, typically within 6 weeks. So that is at least here for the Zambian market. There are certain places where broilers can be kept maybe up to 15 weeks or even longer than that. But typically a broiler is meant to be reared in 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks it is to be sold off for the purpose of being used as meat. So this is what broiler breeding is. So then, what are the key aspects of broiler breeding? What are the key aspects of broiler breeding? What do breeders look at when they are breeding these chickens? So, number one, it's about genetic selection. So when we talk about genetic selection, this focuses on trends like fast growth rate, high feed efficiency, and desirable meat quality. So this is something that is being worked on by breeders all over the world to make sure that the chickens are able to grow really at a faster rate, higher feed efficiency. So just on this particular point, a lot of farmers have this desire to grow big chickens. So when it comes to growing big chickens, one of the starting points for you as a farmer to grow a big chicken is to make sure that you select a day-old chick that has the correct genetic potential. And this can be done by understanding the breeds of broiler chickens which you have on the market. Some of the common breeds that we have on the Zambian market include the Ross 308 breed, the Cobb 500, the Indian River breed, Those are some of the common breeds which we have on the Zambian market. And you can take time to understand the trends of these particular breeds. What makes this breed different from this breed? If I want to grow chickens for this particular purpose, which one is the best breed for me to rear as a farmer? These are very important details which you as a farmer, which you're supposed to look at when selecting the day-old chick which you want to order. Number two, in looking at two key aspects of broiler breeding, number two is breeder management. So when we talk about breeder management, ensures optimal health and reproductive performance of the breeding stock. So the day-old chick which you and I are going to buy, the day-old chick which you and I are going to buy from whichever supplier we are getting those day-old chicks from, is going to be a reflection of the parent stock. So if the breeder, the parent stock, if the breeding management is not good, that will reflect in the offspring. If the parent stock is not vaccinated and so on and so forth, it means that even the offspring is going to be vulnerable to diseases. And that is why it is important for farmers, especially new farmers, to get chicks from reputable sources, because there are certain breeders or hatcheries which are coming on the market, whereby they are coming with attractive prices which are far lower than the reputable breeders. But you do well to protect your investment by getting your day-old chicks from reputable sources, because reputable sources would have been managing their parent stock for a long time. So breeder management ensures optimal health. So if the parent stock is healthier, then the offspring are going to be healthy as well. And if the parent stock is producing well, the hatchability is good, chances of giving you poor quality day-old chicks are very low. So it's really important that you consider where you get your day-old chicks from. Welfare consideration addresses issues like skeleton health and overall well-being due to rapid growth. So there is a lot that goes in making sure that the parent stock is developing and growing the way it is supposed to grow. Because again, the healthier the parent stock, the better the offsprings, and the offsprings are the ones which we get as farmers. The offsprings are the ones which we get as farmers. So it is a good idea for you to find out which hatcheries have good facilities for their parent stock. Now, having said all that about broiler breeding, I think the important part of us as farmers understanding what goes into broiler breeding is for us to sell our birds, number one, with conviction, because there are certain misconceptions which are on the market right now about broiler chickens. Farmers, as a farmer, you should be able to convince your customer on your product, what you're selling. Now, let us talk about nutrition, broiler nutrition, understanding broiler nutrition. If you have any questions concerning broiler breeding or parent stock or anything that has to do with that, You can type in the chat. I'll be able to see it once we are done with this presentation. But now let us get to talk about the broiler nutrition. So what is broiler nutrition to start with? So broiler nutrition involves providing a balanced diet to broiler chickens to ensure optimal growth, health, and productivity. What you want to have as a farmer once you bring in broiler chickens is good growth, good health, and good productivity. Once you have these three, you are rest assured of having your investment back and making a profit on top of that. But then you need to understand the key nutritional components when you have to provide what you need to provide in order for the broilers to grow well. This is important for you to understand as a farmer because how can I put this? There are certain times when farmers focus on the wrong things. There are certain times when farmers focus on the wrong aspects. When they are supposed to focus on ordering a good quality day old chick, they will order a poor quality day old chick and then decide to focus on buying growth promoters instead of making sure correct nutrition. They'll buy cheap feed and then try to supplement it with some supplements, feed supplements, and whatsoever. But let us get to understand broiler nutrition a little bit more. What are the key components? Number one, proteins. Proteins are essential for muscle development and growth. Starter feeds typically have higher protein content, usually around 22 to 25%, compared to grower 21 to 23%, and finisher feeds of 19 to 21%. Now, if you have paid attention to the feed which you buy, so we are talking about broiler nutrition. If you have paid attention to the feed which you buy, and if you have paid attention reading the tags on the bag of feed, you will notice that broiler starter on the Zambian market typically has between 21 to 23%. And most of these feeds which we have on the Zambian market are quite good. They are able to grow the chickens the way they're supposed to grow. So for example, if you get day-old chicks which are weighing which have an average weight of 40 grams, and then you check the average weight again at 7 days. You take an average weight at day old, you find that they are 40 grams, and then you check the average weight at 7 days using a good quality feed, you find that that weight would have increased by at least 4 times the original weight. So on the Zambian market, the target average weight at 7 days is 180 grams, and you find that most of the good feeds, good commercial feeds which we have on the Zambian market will be able to you will be able to attain that 180 grams at 7 days. And the protein content for starter stands at between 21 and 23%. There are also there is also what is called pre-starter on the Zambian market, and pre-starter you'll find that it has slightly higher than the protein content of starter. And then talk about grower. Grower on the Zambian market, you find that it's between 19 and 21%. And then finisher, you'll find it between 17 and 19%. And these feeds are able to grow. You'll be able to grow a chicken maybe up to an average. You'll be able to grow your broiler chickens up to an average weight of 2.6, 2.7 kg in 38 days. You'll be able to grow chickens that well. But the key is in understanding, how does starter feed work? How does grower feed work? And how does finisher feed work? Where is the place of starter feed? Where is the place of grower? And where is the place of finisher? Number 2, so we are looking at key components, key nutritional components. Number 2 is energy. So number 1, we have protein. Number 2, we have energy. So provided mainly through carbohydrates and fats, the energy content increases as the broiler grows, with finisher feeds having the highest energy level. So finisher has the highest energy level. So we say that starter has the highest protein content, and we are saying that finisher has the highest energy level. Reason being, as the chickens grow older, they require more energy. So as they are growing older, as you are reducing on the protein, you have to be increasing on the energy. And that is why we usually do not encourage people to use high energy or high protein feed throughout the rearing process of broiler chickens for this particular reason. Vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals. Vital for metabolic processes, bone development, and overall health. Important vitamins include vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin B complex. While the key minerals include calcium, phosphorus, and sodium. So, again, when you look at the tags on your bags of feed, you will discover that these vitamins and minerals, most feeds will contain the calcium, most feeds will contain the phosphorus, most feed will contain most of these. But then we find that you still need to supplement with at least vitamin E, because the feeds which I have paid attention to on the Zambian market, most of them do not have vitamin E. So you have to give vitamin E. You can either add it as a feed additive or you can put it in water. But most of the vitamin E that we have on the Zambian market is water soluble. And then vitamin A is an important vitamin as well. So vitamins and minerals are key components of broiler nutrition. So water, arguably the most important nutrient. So the most crucial nutrient, as it supports all bodily function. Broilers typically consume twice as much water as feed. So water is really important. And when it comes to water, it's important that you look at the water quality as well. You need to make sure that you as a farmer provide the right quality of water for your beds. The water quality has to be good. We say that the water which you give to your beds should be water that is fit for human consumption. So you should be able to drink the water that you give. the water that you give to your birds must be clean enough for you to drink. And then just talking about the same water, which is a very important nutrient, water can also be disastrous at times if not well managed. Number one, leakages. If you have too many leakages and then you end up having wet litter, and then from the wet litter it becomes dirty, and then you have a breeding ground for coccidiosis, and then you have red diarrhea all of a sudden, and then you end up starting buying a lot of antibiotics, and that is a cost on you as a farmer. And this can be prevented simply by getting high quality drinkers and ensuring that there are no leakages in the poultry. That is part of water management. On the same water management, you need to ensure that you never run out of water in your poultry house unless you have withdrawn the water so that the chickens might get thirsty in order for them to have a vaccination. Then it is okay, but you need to make sure that there's clean water at all times. We are getting into the hot season. When the water becomes warm, there are certain times when you're just getting water straight from the tap and the water is warm because we are getting into the hot season here in Zambia. It's really important that the water is fresh. It's really important that the water is cool. When the water becomes warm or hot, the chickens will not drink that water. The water needs to be cool. So it's important that you ensure you provide cool water for the chickens. So that is about the nutritional components. The other aspect I need to mention is that of making sure that you have good air quality in the chicken house. Make sure that you have good air quality in the chicken house. Now, moving on. Now that we have talked about the nutrients and the nutritional importance and all that, let us talk about the feeding phases. The feeding phases. So we have the starter phase. So the starter phase is high in protein to support early growth. So the starter phase is typically between 0 to 13 days. So basically from the time you collect the birds from your supplier up to 13 days. Now, you need to make a qualification there. These 0 to 13 days, your birds are supposed to attain a certain weight before you graduate them from starter to grower. So from 0 to 13 days, you're supposed to attain an average weight of at least 450 grams by 14 days. And once you attain that, you would have been done with the starter phase. But then again, must make mention to say if you haven't attained the 450 grams within the first 2 weeks of having the broilers on the farm, you can continue giving starter up to 21 days or 18 days up to a point when you as a farmer are satisfied. Sometimes it comes down to farmer discretion. It's your choice. You choose when or how long you're going to give starter feed. But under normal circumstances, and if the birds are growing the way they are supposed to be growing, you're not supposed to go past 3 weeks, because somewhere around 3 weeks, some birds would have hit a kg or so. So it's really important that you do the right thing as a farmer. Now, we move on to the second phase of feeding, which is the grower phase. The grower phase. So this diet of the grower phase is balanced for continued growth and development. So the grower phase is balanced for continued growth and development. Remember, we were saying that starter has a high protein content, but when we come to grower, it's like you have almost 50, let me say 50-50, you have 50-50 carbo, or you have 50-50 energy and protein. The idea is to support the continued growth and development of the broiler. So this is typically between 14 to 24 days, but we prefer to go up to 28 days. So meaning the first 2 weeks you give them a starter, the second 2 weeks you give them grower, and then finally you get to the last 2 weeks as well, you give them a finisher. So finisher focuses on energy to maximize weight gain before market. So finisher is typically given between 25 days up to the point you sell your birds. Finisher is a really important feed. Apart from it supporting maximum weight gain, it also increases the meat quality. The meat quality is better when you give your chickens finisher as opposed to when you do not give them finisher. So you also reduce the risks of having sudden death syndrome in your poultry when you give your birds finisher. So then, what are we saying in conclusion? What we are saying is that proper understanding and application of nutrition ensures broilers reach market weights efficiently and maintain good health throughout the growth cycle. So this is the point that we are simply making. We are simply saying that proper understanding and application of nutrition ensures broilers reach market weight. And that is what we want as farmers, because when the chickens reach market weight, then we can sell them on a good price. And when we sell them on a good price, we make some good profits. And when we make good profits, the people at home are happy and everyone is happy all around. So that is about broiler. That is about broiler breeding and nutrition. At this particular point in time, I am going to open up the floor for questions, comments, and answers. So if at all you have a question, you can either type it in the chat, or if you're unable to type it in the chat, you can simply unmute yourself and ask the question. All right, so I have seen that there are no questions, no comments at this particular point in time.